Welcome everyone. As we learn this Motzi Shabbos Nachamu, as we learn the Mishna Yomis, and that's in the second parak of Beitza, the 8th and the 9th Mishnayos in the second parak of Beitza, sponsored by Yisrael and Fisherman family, Nishmas Basi Bas Rabbi Shalom Ben Avram Alevi Perel Bas Ruvain. Then the Neshama should have an aliyah. Le'iloi Nishmas Rabbi Rachmiel Gershon Ben Tzvi Yud Lefu Shalem V'Eliyah Maish Ben Chayesara L'Schus Avram Ben Yom Benish Ben Malki Yehudis and family. Also sponsored by Yoel Klugman and family. Also for my Shver Avigdor Aryeh Ben Rivka. You should have a Refu Shalem B'Sech Shachar Yisrael. And with Haidot Hashem Yisbarach on my birthday tonight, Yud Beis Av. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you for the ability to be learning Mishna Yomis with such a wonderful Olam, and may it continue at B'Yeskel Tzedek B'Meher V'Yameinu. Shloisha Dvarim Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Matter. 3 things Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah permitted, the Chachamim Oisim, the Chacham prohibited. We know there is a mitzvah Shvisas Behemtoi. An animal is not allowed to work on Shabbos. You have to have your animal rest. One of the things is the animal is not allowed to carry things outside on Shabbos. However, if it's a levush, if it's clothing for the animal, then it's allowed. So, Parasa Yaitza B'Ritzua Sheben Kaneh. His cow went out with a strap between its horns. He held that that was considered a levush. It wasn't a masli, and therefore it's allowed. Now, the Gemara says that he had thousands of cows. It wasn't his cow. However, he had a woman neighbor whose cow went out, and he didn't protest, so it says if his cow went out. This is, of course, the great lesson that somebody who could protest and doesn't protest is also an accessory to the crime. So, but he held it was all right. He held that it's considered a lavush, and it could go out with the strap between its horns. He held that you're allowed to use a metal instrument to curry an animal on Yom Tov. Curry was to scratch it and to massage it. He held you're allowed to do it even though it might cause bleeding. It wasn't a psikration. He holds Davashen Mischaven is mutter. And finally, you're allowed to grind peppercorns with a pepper mill. He held that it wasn't an uvda dechal, and it was allowed. And even though you can't grind wheat, that's because you grind a big amount. But you're allowed to grind a little amount of peppers. Rabbi Yehuda says, you can't curry an animal on Yom Tov with a metal instrument, but you could use a wooden comb that is not going to cause bleeding. The Chachamim you can't use a metal one, and you can't even use a wooden one, because if you use a wooden one, you might come to use a metal one. Horechaim shel pilpulin, a pepper mill. Now the pepper mill has 3 parts. It has the wooden receptacle to catch the pepper grinds. It has a middle keli that was like a strainer, and then it has the upper grinder, which is metal plated. So Horechaim shel pilpulin, the pepper grinder, Tmeya mishum shloisha kelim, all 3 parts are tamei. Mishum clay kibble, the bottom receptacle, because even though the bottom receptacle is a clay eitz, but it has a base kibble, it has a container, and therefore it's mekabel tama. Or mishum clay matchis, the upper part which does the grinding, the pounding, that has a metal plate, and therefore, even though it doesn't have a base kibble, it's a keli and it's mekabel tama. And omishum kli chvara, the middle, which is a strainer, since it has like a weave, it's mekabel tama because it's like a clay orig, it's like a woven fabric. So the sifter in the middle is also mekabel tama. All 3 parts are mekabel tama. What a pleasure, Rabbi Yisai. Let me remind you that this coming week, Daf Yomi is 8:40, 5 minutes earlier, 8:40 at zundaf.com. If you would like to sponsor this week's share on Akev, you can do so by 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com. If you'd like to support this year, you can do so through Zelle or PayPal at rmmwsi@aol.com. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a good Tavach.